Like I've had people, just kind of like address me personally about how things were going on the campus, when I was here, or certain things that I would say or another student would say like at a rally. And even, certain statements, like I think if you call things out for what they are, if you just kind of get right to the point, a lot of things will be taken out of the news altogether. It's kind of like just kind of a dancing around the issue. Like I've run across, white people and had this conversation, and they'll say things like, everything was fine back in '08. No, everything wasn't fine back in '08. We, like, more black people just weren't really talking about it or bringing it up. You have a lot of us that don't ruffle white people's feathers. A lot of, black people work for white folks, or they have white friends or what have you. And their jobs are at stake. They have a lot of things at risk. If they bring up an issue of race, you're going to become alienated. And you got a lot of people that aren't comfortable with that. And it's like you're striving to make people comfortable, but it's like people are dying. People are dying. People are getting lead in the water. People are starving. People are being abused psychologically, physically, spiritually. And it's a real problem. But I think we all need to get to a point where we understand, like white supremacy has existed for a long time in this society, and is one of the pillars of American politics and global politics, if you want to get more into it. But we just kind of don't deal with it, and I think that's the first step in addressing it. And whether you're a journalist, you need to address it from that standpoint, a filmmaker, an artist, or an educator, and so forth and so on. You need to realize that is the reality that we're in. People are dying that look like you every day, and you rather have, and if you have a white person that's your friend and they're uncomfortable, acknowledging that racism is a problem in a society where people that look like you are dying, that's probably not your friend,
My name is Donovan Dodds. I'm a sophomore, business marketing major at Morehouse College.
What college was that?
Morehouse.
Oh.
I guess my question for you would probably pertain to, how or who do you think are the best influences of the civil rights era to approach about being able to bridge the gap between the current generation and the previous generation? Because you would think it would be people like John Lewis, who one day will tweet about, like you said, raising hell and not caring about things, but then at the same time is talking about respectability politics when Hillary comes, and kind of behind closed doors has a different opinion on how things should be done in a respectable manner versus, what it seemed like he used to once have stood for. So what do you think is the best way to approach that, and who do you think are the proper people to engage in those type of conversations?
Well, I don't have a Rolodex of such people. I would caution you that there are a lot of folk who are holding press conferences and having marches and doing not much else, who in many instances are living off the movement, as opposed to trying to really affect change. I ain't calling nobody's names, and Jesse Jackson. There are people who are leaders and icons in their own minds. And a lot of us revere a lot of folk for good reasons of things that they may have done. But there are tremendous numbers of people who profess to be interested in what you're interested in, who are just kind of there. One organization, for example, the NAACP, who kicked me out, kicked Lonnie King out, and kicked Michael Julian Bond out, and Dr. Mamie Darlington out because we thought they should not be stealing money. Well, we took them to court. Anyhow, I'm a life member, but they kicked all of us life members. They kicked us out. You have a brand that has been tarnished, unfortunately, in that organization A lot of folk think it has a lot of power that it does not have. It does great image awards, you know, but don't ask me about all that other stuff they're doing in between the image awards, except an occasional press conference. So let's not look so much for personalities who are just projected as our leaders. You know, inquire among those folk who are living like you're living, who are localized fighters in their own communities, and folk that you respect because of what you know they're doing, to confer with. You know, and engage in this kind of thing with some of us old folk from time to time who've been there, done that, got a t-shirt. But in the end, take what we have to say into your own heart and mind and turn it around and decide again what you want to do. One thing I think is lost quite often on all of us is that all of this is about money and power, all of it. If you've read any of King's speeches, and there's one you haven't read, get the one that he made a year before his assassination at Riverside Church, where he talked about the triple evils of militarism, right, economic exploitation, and racism. Those were the three evils that existed then, they exist now. You know, we're spending all this money on militarism, and some of that stuff we gotta do. You know, we gotta keep folk from killing us, I know that. But economic exploitation is the #1 thing. In this country and in this world right now, the overwhelming wealth is concentrated in the hands of very, very few people. As a matter of fact, I mentioned this last time I was over here. You can get a bus, put it outside, put 68 people on it. And those 68 people would have more wealth than the poorest 50% of the people in this country. You think that's fair? No. But that's what it is. When you hear the Donald Trumps, and you know about the Koch brothers, I hope you know about the Koch brothers, these folk are buying congressmen, they're buying senators and legislators and mayors and governors and everybody, and they're making policies and they're executing policies on behalf of those who own them. That's the bottom line, and you gotta help people understand that, especially poor white folk, the poor black people and all of us, that we have nothing in common with the Trumps of the world, who's an idiot, a rich one, and got a lot of whatever, but chutzpah. But you know, we cannot let our people be beguiled into thinking that everything's gonna be all right. All we have to do is, you know, raise a little sand every now and then. No, what you gotta do is take money out of the pockets of those people who are oppressing you. We got to stop financing our own oppression. We need to find out who owns what and who's putting money in whose campaigns and stop doing business with those people. We can buy a toilet tissue from somebody besides Georgia Pacific, owned by the Koch brothers. I mean, you know, we need to know who owns all the stuff where we put our money. It's your money. And somebody asked the other day when I was here about should you accept donations from corporations for doing what you want to do. That's your money in the first place. They took it from you. You were exploited in the process. I mentioned too this guy that y'all sent, some of y'all sent to the Senate last time. David Perdue, is that his name? Mm-hmm. This man owns Dollar General. He pays himself more in a single day than he pays 2 of his store managers for a whole year. And some of those same folk thought he was the guy to represent them, you know, because he was singing some song. The only thing that's changed is the language a little bit. You know, they used to say, nigga, 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 that was good enough. Now they get some different kind of catchphrases that they use. And they all mean essentially the same. I'm a conservative, you know, we need smaller government, da, 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 da. All of it means is us white folk, against y'all. Anybody who's not white male, you know. When Ivan Allen was elected mayor in this town, all the candidates were white male Protestants. No Jews, no blacks, no women, no Hispanics or Asians, none of that. They still, to a great extent, the power elite in this country still feel that way, that only white male Protestants should rule the world, and everybody else is more or less expendable. But that's the key message I hope you new leaders will help people to understand. It all boils down to money and power, and the two go together.